Hello there, beautiful goddesses of your reality. Welcome back. This is Manifest with Jenny T, your mindset and spiritual coach. So, I'm in a new location at home because I thought I'm doing this very spontaneously. So I just thought, sod it, let's wing it. So that's what I'm doing. Today's subject is I'm a little bit nervous because I'm going to be so honest with you guys. And I think because I'm having a break from social media, and I'm not structuring myself the same. I'm very much in my feminine at the moment. I'm very flowy. Oh, by the way, please like, subscribe, and click the little bell icon so when I upload videos, they come straight to you. Back to the flowy energy. And because I'm very much in my feminine flow at the moment, it's what I've needed because I've had a tad bit of man flu, which has nearly took me out, of course, as you can imagine, gentlemen. And also because of my stress levels and what I've been going through lately. It's been something where I've really needed to come back to rest my nervous system and just put myself in rest and digest and take myself out of sympathetic nervous system activation, which I've been in, meaning that I've been stressed. Right, and I've had the symptoms of feeling overwhelmed and just really needing to just listen to my body and be intelligent and do all the things that I talk to you about. I'm not outside of being susceptible to these things, especially because what I've really been going through, which I'm not going to go into detail about part of it, but I am going to be quite honest about the other part of it. And today's video is going to be an SP related video. Now, I haven't done an SP related video for a while. I haven't actually dealt with certain things within myself, pertaining to a relationship split, a romantic relationship split that I've gone through a couple of months ago. So, right, I'm going to be very honest. Myself and my SP, we broke up, and I'm not going to go into detail about the circumstances because that's quite irrelevant. Really, it's more the point and the take home that I want you to really think about, and I want to make certain things you aware of when you're on your manifesting journey. Now, I'm a bit dubious about being so honest because, I feel like a lot of the coaches out there sort of have really what I would say and what I perceive as taking you down a bit of a garden path and very clickbaity, and not even in the basic clickbait, like I mean just as a general consensus when it comes to law of assumption. And so I've made no bones to you to tell you that when I found the law, it was because I was manifesting a certain person, and but I was in a very broken space at that time, and I stumbled across the law, and it seemed to fit with what I was going through, and it resonated at the time. Now, learning about the law, it's been a blessing, but also I understand where I was energetically and what I took from that, and what a lot of broken-hearted women actually do with the law, and we use it as a means to further our chasing energy. So I was heartbroken. I wanted to be with a certain person, and that didn't seem possible. And so I wanted to, of course, find out how I could, do this another way. Like, I'd never experienced heartbreak because I was married for a good many years, so it wasn't anything that I had to think about and find out about. I was sort of in a marriage and I had children, so this was all new to me, and this person was a dismissive avoidant, and so of course, a dismissive avoidant, or we just say this to give you an overview. They're sort of dismissive of their own feelings, so they're not forthcoming with telling you what's actually going on within. And so I'd never had a romantic partner that was a dismissive avoidant. Now, I do just want to use the word dismissive avoidant quite lightly, because I really don't like to carry labels. I find that one should learn about their own attachment style and then drop it. I'm going off here, but basically it's just to give you the sort of outlay of the way that my relationship was. It was kind of run a chase of dynamics that was going on. Anyway, when I learned about the law, it was very empowering on one hand, because I felt like I could take control of my circumstances. And that's exactly what it did for me. It gave me a level of control, which was great. But specifically what I want to talk to you about today, and where it doesn't help, the law doesn't help, or not the law itself, not Neville's teachings, but the way that coaches put it over now, is to almost uh, transmute that energy, or not transmute that energy, but flip that energy around. So in essence, what I did at that time was that I started imagining him wanting me, and him desiring me, and him feeling heartbroken over me, and all the thoughts that were associated with that. Now, it gave me something to focus on, and it sort of alleviated, it soothed me within those moments. But it didn't change anything. And what I understand now at the level that I'm at with regards to my own growth and my individuation now, so obviously you can see that I've gone on to Jung's teachings a lot, and Alan Watts, but and still Neville, but so the level that I'm at now, I fully understand about energy and frequency and the shadow and the psyche and individuation and that journey. And what I see that I was doing was that I was flipping the energy, but I was still attached. And this is, again, the one of the biggest things, I think. Well, I think it is the biggest thing, that and self-concept, as in loving thyself. Those two are the biggest things to learn on your journey of growth, whether it's manifestation, whether it's individuation, whatever personal development that you're doing. I think being non-attached to the outcome is absolutely massive. And it's not just, without going off, it's not just attachment to a love, it's attachment to a certain way of your career, how money can flow to you, how what home that you want, and how the attachment is a broad term for wanting to control it and do things very much your way. And that's what it did in essence. It changed me from sort of looking at myself as this person that is so rejected, to then someone who was chosen, but I was still very much attached. There was no severing of our attachment. So it was still about that person, opposed to it being about me. Now, let me fast forward on from there to just tell you where I am. That chapter is totally closed, of course, because I've gone on a journey. I met someone else, and we were in a loving, committed relationship. Um, so, but obviously there is certain cracks that have appeared since, and hence we aren't together and we've split up. And this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I want you to understand that we as women massively need to work on our attachment. That for me and where I am, the level that I'm at, the self concept is there, it's established. I see my worth and I see my value. But I think as a touted empath, and a lot of the women that I speak to who are on this journey, there tends to be this running theme of carrying everyone on your back, right? You know, being too caring, too loyal, too loving. But it's attachment, and these are fundamentally where we need to work. We don't need to think that this person is constantly thinking about us and brokenhearted over us, because it's still about them, guys. And this is what I need you to understand. Our lessons for finding the love that we deserve, finding our one, means that we have to understand that attachment has no place, because it's it's us learning the truth within us. It's us seeing our own divinity. It's our journey of realizing that we can be, do, and have everything. That's the key. But then releasing the attachments around bringing those people with us. We are not responsible for their journey. I can't I can't hold a man's hand through him learning about his patterns. I think because a lot of women are very intuitive. uh, I'm speaking about myself and a lot of other ladies that I know. I see people's patterns, their wounds, their unhealed trauma, what they carry on from relationship to relationship, and it's so unconscious to them, and I can identify it, and I can be a willing participant to try to get the other party to see, just like I work on me daily, always working on myself internally. But it's not my job to hand hold them through those moments where they should be realizing for themselves that they don't want to repeat patterns. And girls, let me just tell you, most of the time the reasons why these men keep on repeating these patterns, and it's so frustrating to a woman who is emotionally evolved, is because their ego is so in control of their life that it means that they have to sit in that pain and identify where they have to maybe cry, maybe feel really shit for a time, and they can't do that. They would prefer to make you the issue. They would prefer to project out that you are the problem rather than looking within. And that's just the way it is. And ladies, why are we holding on to these men? Why? In hopes you're repeating your cycles. By you repeating your cycles, you're the one who still needs to work on you. All those things that you're trying to help your partner with, that you say, you're not, because you're not even working on the things that are keeping you attached to them, those cycles. And you would prefer to hang on in knowing that 70% of it, 75% of it's good. And, you know, nobody can have everything perfect. So we'll give up that those real cracks within the relationship in hopes that we'll change them, right, girls? We'll change them over time, but it doesn't work. And they're responsible for their life. Everyone is responsible for their own path. So why do we insist on continuing to do this? My work is to continue on my growth journey, guys. And that's the truth. The truth is that your one will meet you at your level of growth. The person that I met 2-3 years ago, they match me at my energy, but I carry on growing. If that person can't grow and they refuse to grow, then there's no way, other than you stumping your growth, there's no way that the relationship can continue. It will just be forever going through this cycle, and you'll only be hurting yourself. So does that mean en route you're saying that there's no specific person? So if you want a specific one, are you saying, Jen, I can't have that because he refuses to go through his own karma, his own growth lessons? You have to separate from him, and that's as simple as it is. And you have to continue the work within, because it's not about a man specifically. It's always been about you, girls. And I know that sometimes, because we feel these horrible icky feelings, these very sad feelings, lonely feelings, sometimes we would prefer to go back there to have that little bit of comfort, physical arms, comfort. But this is where we get ourselves back into these cycles. And the truth is that he can't grow if you're not growing. There's no one to change but self. So you have to do your own patterns, guys. This is what the work is. It's not doing the surface level fluff and saying, I've convinced my mind I'm what is it? Not doolally. Delusional. Delulu. I'm not well, it does make you go a little bit doolally tap, but that's separate. I'm delusional enough now. I've got my fantasy right. And trust me, guys, I'm not telling you not to live in the 4D. I love the 4D. The 4D tells me exactly what my desires are. But you have to have a level of 4D with reality and the 3D. And that's just the way it is. You have to work in coherence with your mind and your soul together. And if you're walking around because you've created this scene and you've looped this scene long enough that you think it's going to happen, it doesn't work that way. Scenes can only come to fruition through coherence. That means that you have to drop the resistance within the 3D. And it doesn't mean walking around thinking, this is going to happen now. He's going to show up with those bouquet of flowers that I was... That's not the way manifestation works, guys, and we've got to snap ourselves back into reality. Manifestation means it's a process, it's a journey. You're not going to just wake up and have all your desires knocking on your door. That's a process of growth within you. And if you don't undertake the task of growing, he won't. And release him as a face, because I want to ask you a question, guys, and I want you to answer me honestly, because these are the questions that I ask myself, going through this processing of awkward feelings and uncomfortable detachment, detachment of love that still resides within me. But if it means at the end of this rainbow, whatever it is, the love, the perfect picture that you want and you envision within your mind, if at the end of this rainbow it's not that face that you see, it's not him, but it's someone who meets you at growth, meets you at your lessons that you've learned, will you turn that person away? the one that makes you feel the one that makes you feel safe, loved, cared for, listened to, fun, in your feminine, not feeling like you've got to fight the world, not feeling like you've got to prove anything to your partner. If that one shows up with a different face, are you going to turn him away? No, you're not. You're going to embrace it. But this is what the detachment is. Am I saying that it can't be that specific person with that face? It can, but that's their journey. That's if they choose it. You can only say, this is what I see. And for us to have a lasting, long, beautiful, sustainable relationship, this is what we need to do. And if they, from their wounds, can't see the place that you're saying this from, they can't see your heart. Their love language is something that's totally opposite to yours, and they just want to see, because they're so fearful of their own growth lessons. If that's them, you can't force this, guys. You can't. All you can do is go within and change thyself, work on thyself. Maybe that person will come in grown. Maybe they will say that, I understand. When you weren't there, and when I went through these situations and that situation, and I was thrust into this, and I had to deal with that, Jen. Maybe that may be the case where it's like I needed to not have you in my life so I could really see the person I wanted to be. And at the end of it, all I could see was your face. And maybe you meet and then it's a beautiful scenario again. But if not, that was not meant to be your person. So stop holding on to just a fantasy. Fantasy and reality, 6 and 7, that's so old now. It goes hand in hand. Okay. So as much as, and I'm saying this, girls, not to give you a lecture, because I'm currently detaching, because I've had no choice. My will for wanting a specific person to be a man, a specific man, that man showed me where their level of maturity or their level of consciousness is at this point. And the only choice is do I accept that makes me unhappy? Do I accept that as someone who doesn't actually see me for my worth and my value? Or do I step away and learn the lessons and keep growing, knowing that love will come to me, whether it's in his form or whether it's in somebody else's form, but it's going to come. But you've just got to have faith in yourself. You've got to go through the moments of letting go, and it hurts. It's painful, guys. It is. But from something that's painful in that cocoon that I always talk to you about, then the butterfly eventually submerges. So allow that process to happen. Like the kids are always saying now, for some reason, they don't know what it means, but they're saying it. Trust the process. Trust the process. Trust that the answers are within you. Okay. And I know this because I know that those are the answers within me. And I'm not saying I want to do this on my own. I know who I am. I know I'm manifesting the abundant life full of connection, full of joy, full of love, and full of the things that light me up and my soul up. I'm not giving in, guys. I'm just allowing the process. I'm swimming downstream. So swim downstream with me, okay? Right, I'm going to finish there because it's nearly 25 minutes of waffle. I'm going to put this out this Sunday. So any questions, please reach out to me. I'm sending you lots of love, you beautiful souls, you. And I will see you in the next one.